Why is it that, as a culture, we are more comfortable seeing two men holding guns than holding hands? Author Ernest J. Gaines. The United States government has been systematically regressing the country's power since Project 2025 was put into effect, threatening the human rights of people across the country and destroying America's integrity. The LGBTQ+ community has been publicly fighting for justice, freedom, and equality in America since the 60s. We deserve the freedom and equality that America promised in 1776. If you're close to my age, you probably grew up with more optimism than Gen Alpha has ever been exposed to in schools. I remember seeing posters like these in every classroom growing up. I remember being taught to accept and love everyone and how diversity fosters community. Today, that community is being ripped from the hands of naive and innocent children by the Trump administration. I was 11 years old during Trump's first term as president. My brother came out to me and introduced me to his boyfriend, just 2 years after marriage equality was recognized by the American government. After contemplating my own sexuality, I came out as queer. I remember feeling like we had finally come far enough to represent the values we advertise to every other country. America was built on the foundation that every American citizen is entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Today, I would like to draw attention to the deep injustices of the American government regarding the promises made to their citizens. Not just marriage inequality, but freedom of expression and bodily autonomy. Project 2025, and organizations that provide hope and support for the LGBTQ+ community during this mentally exhausting state of our current government. The current administration believes that only cisgender heterosexual couples can foster healthy, natural family dynamics. On page 49 of the Project 2025 document published by the Heritage Foundation, the Trump administration endorses the family agenda. The Secretary's anti-discrimination policy statements should never conflate sex with gender identity or sexual orientation. Rather, the Secretary should proudly state that men and women are biological realities that are crucial to the advancement of life sciences and medical care, and that married men and women are the ideal natural family structure because all children have a right to be raised by the men and women who conceive them. The implications of this bill not only dehumanize people, but it strips them of their character. It's not like people can choose who they love or whether they were born as the correct gender. The Trump administration is composed of conservative loyalists, such as the United States Attorney General, Pam Bondi. She opposes marriage equality so strongly she can be quoted as saying it would impose serious public harm prior to the Supreme Court ruling of Obergefell versus Hodges. While Project 2025 doesn't use specific language or plan a path to federally ban same-sex marriage, it does support the belief that the government should affirm that children require and deserve both the love and nurturing of a mother and the play and protection of a father. Why fix something that isn't broken? The Trump administration desires to rescind executive orders that explicitly protect minors from bias and discrimination in the workplace. In a report published by UCLA in 2025, it was specified that the new executive order not only removes protections for LGBTQ+ employees of federal contractors and subcontractors, but also protections from discrimination based on race, religion, sex, and national origin. Using data from about 1,900 LGBTQ people in the workforce in 2023, UCLA created graphs illustrating the prominence of discrimination against various LGBTQ minorities. Before Trump had even started his attempt at dismantling the protective measures his predecessors put into place. So our community has faced irrefusable cruelty recently, even with lawful protection. Trump wants to hurt the community with more than just discrimination, though. Project 2025 clearly outlines the Trump administration's plan to eliminate all rights transgender people are entitled to. They want to erase Americans of bodily autonomy and redefine the word sex as a whole. UCLA stated in their report on the impact of the executive order redefining sex on transgender, non-binary, and intersex people that the order requires that sex-separated spaces such as homeless shelters and intimate partner violence shelters, or intimate spaces designed for women, girls, or females, or for men, boys, or males, funded or operated by the federal government, are designated by sex and not identity. If you remove the LGBTQ plus community's protection over violence and discrimination and force them into unwelcoming spaces, you're subjecting people to horrible treatment for no reason. In 2017, Trump began to institutionalize transphobia through policies such as the ban on transgender military service and the elimination of anti-discrimination policies in several areas of federal policy based on gender identity and expression. These issues will get worse if we don't stand up to our government and defend human rights. The administration wants to remove transgender rights to healthcare in the United States. He wants to remove access to gender-affirming care for transgender youth, as well as their healthcare coverage. TRICARE, Medicare, and Medicaid will no longer cover gender-affirming care and restrict the natural right to express yourself. Intersex people's sex characteristics do not fall into the typical binary categories of male and female, so there is no way for them to fit into an exclusionary category without abandoning their gender identity. The government is planning a targeted attack on the LGBTQ plus community, and I know you may be asking yourself, if the government won't do anything, then who will? There are many resources and organizations dedicated to serving the LGBTQ plus community, such as the nonprofit organization Love Has No Labels, is a movement to promote equality for all Americans. We believe love is the most powerful force to bring people together, and together we can create a society where every person is treated with equal dignity and respect. They produce PSAs and provide people with information on how to take action in your community. The Trevor Project is a 24/7 helpline for members of the LGBTQ plus community experiencing mental health troubles. They also advocate for the community by sharing personal stories and teaching allies how to navigate making an impact and supporting those who are LGBTQ plus. You can also get involved in the Cincinnati Pride Parade or other local Pride events. Advocate for human rights and support your local community by celebrating diversity. Jane Goodall once said, "One individual cannot possibly make a difference alone. It is individual efforts collectively that make a noticeable difference, all the difference in the world." So protest against the anti-LGBTQ+, the Trump administration is pushing onto us, and fight for human rights this June. The Trump administration is fixated on controlling the American population rather than governing it. This country was made by the people and for the people, and your voice has power and influence over our country's future. Project 2025 has clear plans to harm the LGBTQ+ community and transgender people specifically. However, a plan is not a confirmation that something will happen. You can make a difference and disrupt the current administration's plans by advocating human rights and carefully researching your elected government officials on a local level. As Gandhi once said, "You may never know what results come of your actions, but if you do nothing, there will be no results."